And rolling. Can I have you introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Cheryl Stearns, and presently I'm in Paris, California for the Hall of Fame. I was inducted in 2010. I've got 21,000 parachute jumps, 2-time world champion, 5-time world military champion. I have 35 first place overall for the nationals. I've got 35 world records, 6 Guinness Book of World Records, and I was the first woman on the Army parachute team, the Golden Knights. I spent 28 years in the Army, retired, and 34 years at the airlines, and here I am still competing, still flying, still jumping, and still trying to go out and win a few things. And see all my friends, because, I got 48 years in the sport, 49 almost.
Sure beats speed gravel, doesn't it?
I got a lot of friends out there. I actually made my first parachute jump in October 1972, but it started way back when I was 8 years old, where I always wanted to know what it felt like to go 120 miles per hour. You stick your hand outside the car and all, and what does it feel like to free fall? Because I would see ripcord on TV, and that excited me about that aspect of an adventure. Curiosity was there for a long, long time. So I finally asked my mom for, she could pay $40. My dad wouldn't sign the permission slip, my mother did. I was earning my money by babysitting at 25 cents an hour, so she did sign the permission slip. I jumped in Coolidge, Arizona, and I made one jump at a static line, round canopy static line. So I only fell at 8 feet, and I didn't get to go 120 miles an hour. So I continued skydiving, and through that, we had a club and everything back in those days, and we learned to pack, work with each other, and, there were military folks I jumped with, all much older than I am at an age of 17. And so by the time I got to my 20th jump and I'm free falling, as I said, I wanted to be aware of everything, not task overloaded, and just go, wow, I just opened up, what did I see? Full awareness, but by that time, now I'm hooked to the sport. And I was a big competitor. I was a tennis player. That what got me through college was a tennis scholarship. And so I started competing, and because it was survival too, I would bet the guys $1 a jump, but I couldn't afford to lose because I couldn't afford to pay them. So that's how I became very, very good in accuracy, because it was really a survival mode, plus being a competitor. So through this, 3 months later, I've been asking the pilot, what is this? How does this work? How does that work for the airplane? Because I was actually not scared of jumping out of the airplane. I was more scared of riding in the airplane because I didn't have the knowledge of the airplane. So I took a $5 introductory ride in Phoenix, Arizona, and I go, this is it. This is where my career is going. I'm not doing anything else that I thought I was going to do. So I want to become an airline pilot. And eventually, long story short, I just retired from the airlines, 34 years with the airlines as American Airlines pilot. But when I'm in Arizona, I had heard there's a place to train out in Rayford, North Carolina, to become a world champion. I was only going to go for a month to get some training there. So I wrote the guy a letter, Gene Thacker, who was also inducted in the Hall of Fame the same year I was. I asked him, I said, I got a dog, I got 450 jumps. Can I come out there and work for you and, become a world champion of some sort? So he said, yeah, come on out, won't let you or your dog starve. So he paid me $20 a month for 2 years. And I lived in a hangar, and I lived on sardines and coconuts, and had a great time because I was flying and skydiving. And then I'm looking at the Golden Knights here. I'm teaching them how to fly. I'm competing against them. I'm beating them. And I go, wait a minute, why can't I go travel and do overseas stuff? And so they said, well, no, women can't join the Army parachute team. So it took 2 years to convince Washington and a few other folks and this through a whole rigmarole deal. So I did join, got in the Army, and then got to the Army parachute team. And so I was the first woman on the Army parachute team and first ambassador to bring all the other women that are there on the team that represents the Army. And I still do more teaching and flying and all sorts of jobs since I'm retired. So my biggest thing is safety. So safety in parachuting, safety in flying, safety in life, And you got to know when to say no. You got to know where your limits are, not to push those limits. You don't want to learn the hard way. I've always said flying and jumping is very, very safe as long as you respect it. If you don't respect it, it'll bite you.